we're going to speak about how in the very near future, independent thinkers will be arrested. And I don't think many people understand what's really going on. In a world where information is abundant, discerning truth from deception becomes paramount. Yet, as we navigate through the landscape of media, censorship, and government influence, it becomes increasingly apparent that our perceptions are often manipulated, our thoughts guided, and our freedoms curtailed, all in the name of control. At the heart of this intricate web of manipulation lies the United States government, orchestrating a symphony of censorship, mind manipulation, and media deception to shape public opinion and maintain its grip on power. From the corridors of power to the airwaves of mainstream media, the hand of influence extends far and wide, ensnaring the unsuspecting minds of the populace. Central to this agenda is the utilization of celebrities, athletes, and religious figures as conduits and puppets of propaganda. Through their influence and reach, these figures corral the thoughts of millions, shaping perceptions and beliefs in alignment with the government's narrative. From the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag, ingrained in school children from a tender age, to the unquestioning acceptance of mainstream media narratives, the indoctrination runs deep, leaving little room for dissent or critical thinking. Yet, this is not blind anger directly solely at the U.S. government. Too much has been revealed for us to turn a blind eye to the orchestrated machinations of power. While the American mainstream media is quick to castigate leaders of other nations as terrorists, it is conveniently glossed over the nefarious actions of the U.S. government itself. Behind the facade of spreading democracy lies a darker truth, a relentless pursuit of resource-rich nations through destabilization and force, all facilitated by the compliance of a populace whose minds have been meticulously molded to serve the interests of the elite. Mind control and government propaganda are age-old tools of manipulation, employed by regimes throughout history to justify their actions and rally support for their agendas. Whether it be demonizing foreign nations to justify war or promoting consumerism to maintain economic power, the tactics remain the same. Control the narrative, control the minds. Yet, the insidious nature of government influence extends beyond the realm of geopolitics, permeating into the fabric of society itself. From censorship of dissenting voices to the propagation of divisive ideologies, the mechanisms of control are omnipresent. Nowhere is this more evident than in the concerted efforts of the FBI and CIA to destabilize the Black community in America. From the targeted persecution of groups such as the Black Panthers to the infiltration and subversion of empowering movements like the Nation of Islam, the government's fear of a united front among Black individuals is palpable by sowing seeds of discord through fabricated divisions based on political ideology, religious beliefs, and other artificial categories. The government perpetuates a cycle of mistrust and animosity, keeping marginalized communities fragmented and easily controlled. But amidst the darkness, there is hope. The veil of deception is slowly being lifted, and the voices of dissent are growing louder. Through awareness and activism, we can break free from the shackles of manipulation and reclaim our autonomy. It is time to question, to challenge, and to resist the forces that seek to control us. Only then can we truly claim our freedom, our minds, and our future. This video is probably going to get taken down. I don't care. See, back in the day, we thought social media was such a good thing. We just knew we had it made, and we accepted it wholeheartedly. We absorbed it. We embraced it like an old friend. And it changed our lives. It sure did. It changed our lives to the point where we forgot the passage of time. I struggle myself as a full-time content creator. I'm almost embarrassed to say I'm a full-time content creator because I don't want people to think that I'm on the side of those oppressors who use this thing to scramble up our brains. At first, we can speak on these platforms. At first, we were free to express anything without any persecution. But slowly but surely, the goalposts were moved, the tables were turned, and the heroes who were independent in media, social media, became the villains. They became the ones who were attacked. They say one could be called a social media influencer. But see, you can be an influencer as long as you influence your followers to follow the agenda of the elite, which I am not going to really say that they're elite. I'm only saying it because that's the accepted word. But we are the ones who are elite. We're elite. We're special. Those independent thinkers. But like I said in the title, in the very near future, independent thinkers will be arrested. I wanted to say what it will be even more so, but I kept the word to be arrested. I could have said deleted. I could have said unalived. See, these are words we have to use now because we have to speak careful. Well, SCURV, what are you scared to say? Aren't you supposed to be the one who's not scared? Yeah, I'm not scared, but I'm not dumb. I want to stay here to reach the people and vibe with the people, and we can go on to other platforms. Bottom line, like I always say, on the bottom of this banner, you got LANCESCURV.com, which is going through a major overhaul. And like I did admit the other day on the show, before these few people, we got 38 people watching. I'm quite sure 10 of them are disgruntled former LANCESCURV followers, but they still want to peek and see what's going on. So before you run your mouth and say they took down my channel, understand that I'm taking it down so I can protect my content as we speak. So if you say anything other than what I just said, you're making yourself look stupid, because half of y'all are agents of chaos anyway, trying to stop somebody from doing what they've been doing. I've been talking all my life. I've been reading all my life. I've been experiencing things hands-on all my life. You can't take that away. You're wasting your time. I hope the government is paying you good. Because if they're not paying you, you a damn fool for spending so much time watching me when you could be doing something in your own life. And those are for the people who are the agents of chaos. My other brothers and sisters who are here, I'm glad you are here. We vibe all the time. We have a little phone calls and emails, and sometimes they're misunderstandings, and I correct them. I'm not beyond that. But when you have people who have come into your home and they see you and they want to block you on your own show and turn around, go back to the group that's disgruntled and plot up the next attack. Because I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. I don't care who you are. Gina G, welcome on in. Riri, welcome on in. Willie C. Holman Jr., welcome on in. Oliver, welcome on in. Exactly, Oliver. Independent thinkers are being gang stalked and slowly unalived. But we got to go sooner or later. Let it mean something. Because you see, when you have that soul, when you have that spirit to speak your mind as is your creator given right, it's your right to do so. So you mean you're going to step on my toe and I can't say ouch? What kind of mess is that? If we see something, we can't speak on it? See, let me tell you something. This was part of the plan. It's not like they took over something that was once good. See, before they called it social media, yes, we had the internet, we had message boards, we had all of these things, and we can communicate freely. Yeah, we got used to it. You see, even before the marriage of the cell phone and the internet, because I know you remember those days. Maybe you don't. If you're very young, if you're like 20 years old, well, maybe you don't remember those days, right? Maybe if you're 30, you don't remember those days. It all depends on when you get online and got into the whole thing. But there was a time, and I've said this before, there was a time when you had to say to yourself, if you wanted to check your emails, you say, man, I got to get home and check my emails. You forgot about that, didn't you? There was no smartphone connected to the internet to go check your stuff on the go. See, they gradually introduced these things into our life, and it wasn't for anything good. You see what I mean? It wasn't for anything good. There was a long-term plan. Ladies, sisters, like that man who says everything's so sweet to you. He holds the door for you. He brings you flowers. He doesn't say anything lewd. He takes his time with you and takes you to nice restaurants, takes you shopping sometime. Now, I'm amping it up because we know all brothers don't do that. Patrina Gilbert, welcome on in. And so now we start to melt. You know, we have a little resistance. Miss D Nice, Cleveland in the house, how are you? We still going to do that show. But after a while, it starts to get to you. Your defenses come down. And it's a natural thing. I'm not saying it's not supposed to happen, but when a person treats you so nice, it's a thing. Exactly, Patrina. It's a gimmick. It's a trick to get you hooked. I'm glad you know it. And you're wondering, could this be the one? And so, you know, the music is playing. He hasn't tried you yet. You're saying to yourself, this is a nice guy. This is somebody who I can spend time with. And all of a sudden, it happens. You don't feel bad about it at first because it's the natural order of things. But you don't realize that you've been seduced by someone who doesn't care about you. You've been seduced by somebody who wants to take you over. And different men have different agendas. Some may want you for a night or two just to unravel the mystery, to see what it's like. Some may want to ride you, and I'm not talking about in that kind of way. They may want to ride you because they sense that your finances are intact and theirs are not. Maybe they're leaping from one couch to the next, and they want to come over by you, and they come with a story, and you say, wow, it'd be nice to have this man with me 24/7. And you give it a shot to see what it's like to live with this man. And you let him on in. And you realize he's no good. And you realize you've been duped. And you think back to all the nice things that he did and what he meant to you. And you're like, this was engineered. And we got to look at social media the same way. Because while it gave us so many things, it took so many things away from us. No, it did. We don't look each other in the eye no more. We don't talk to each other anymore directly. Yes, we will have our inner circle who we still talk to, but we don't laugh with each other as much. We send emojis and we LOL with each other. LOL. Welcome in, Reese. Good to see you. They reeled us in slowly. Exactly. You're right, Sister Reese. They took their time and seduced us, and now we feel foolish. Now we feel embarrassed that we got so much into social media that certain relationships that should have been sustained, that were the bedrocks in our life, we let them go. The lure, fellas, back when you were young, some fellas never had girlfriends. They might have had an experience or two, but now they're getting to be middle-aged and they see all of these women, TikTok, Instagram, and they're so easily accessible, and they reach out to all of them, get responses, and they go crazy to make up for something that they think they didn't get. Social media, the internet, so many people, men and women, are addicted to pornography. When you were younger, your mind was not blasted with all of these images of sweaty bodies, doing all types of sex acts that you didn't think of, you never connected with. There was some that we did. You got basically two things in different positions. But now, multiple people, now all kind of fetishes are being developed because they're introduced to you. You're like a person, and I'm not accusing anybody here, but whatever's going on in us, we know now, don't we? So we all have different struggles. But it's almost like going to the restaurant and looking up at the menu. Now, you know, when you went into the restaurant, there was something that you liked. You might have liked 2 or 3 different dishes. And really, in a restaurant, it's not a bad thing to like all of the dishes. But when it comes to sexuality, these things that are offered up on the menu of what you can do. Yes, if you have a committed relationship, marriage, a committed relationship, do what you do. Because the marriage bed is undefiled. As long as you're not hurting somebody or forcing something on somebody or exploiting somebody or taking something that was put in your head and bringing it back. Well, I saw this on a movie and I don't understand. See, there is a difference with our sisters and our brothers. You see, when a man comes, and maybe you'll disagree with me and say, you know, I saw this dress that I'd like to see you in. Well, when you saw the dress, what were you thinking? Were you looking at the woman because she looked good in the dress, or because you were lusting after the woman? And you want to bring that dress home because now you want to think of that woman in the street while you're pulling that dress up on your committed relationship. Now, sisters will say and see a brother, and it might be innocent. Really, I think 9 times out of 10 it is. And she'll tell you, I saw a gentleman with this sweater, and it was so nice, you know, and I'm not trying to brown nose or simp for the sisters. I just tell it like it is. That's the way it is. But this thing has messed up our mind to the point now they have these goggles. Apple has these goggles, that's what I'll call them, that you can walk around now and you're totally disconnected. Independent thinking? No, they're all up in our head. The mind controllers are all up in our head rent free. And we're so addicted to it now. And like I said earlier, the passage of time, because most of us are living in the past. And it's ironic. We hear songs now that we like. Depending on what category you like, it doesn't matter. You like what you like. But guess what? When you think about the old songs from the 70s, if you were living at that point, if you're younger, more recent, understood. But the songs from our childhood, going into the teen years, Flash Mail, welcome on in. I don't want to miss anybody. But you think of the song and you think of the memory attached to the song, right? You say, man, I remember this song and it reminds me of my old girlfriend. It reminds me of my brother who's deceased. It reminds me of that old restaurant we used to meet up when I was 15 years old. I attach music with people, places, and things. And I've been doing it all my life because the music was the backdrop. They've even used music against us. Music was the backdrop and the soundtrack of our lives. I wrote an article many, many, many years ago. It had to be around 2005. I think that's when Luther Vandross transitioned. And the reason, I have my reasons for saying 2005. It couldn't have been any time after. And we'll have to fact check that. Maybe it's 2004, but I think it was 2005. And I remember writing that his songs was the soundtrack of my life. Not only his songs, but when I sing them, I think about certain people. There's a connection. Now, what do the songs now remind us of? Because we're not doing anything, interacting with people anymore. So many of us, and I know so many people who stay in their house scrolling on the phone because they wake up. They wake up to go to the bathroom with the crust and the goop in the corner of their eye. And they grab for the phone. So the brothers got their penis in one hand and the phone in the other, checking for what? The blue light is waking you up and you're bombarding your mind with more stuff. Too much stimulation. What happened to being still? Let me tell you something. When was the last time you said you were bored? Yeah, I'm bored. You know it's a luxury and a necessity to be bored? You're probably saying, oh, SCURV, you done lost your mind right now. But that's when your mind is cleaning house. But we never clean house mentally anymore because we bombard ourselves. We do it. Mental masturbation. We're doing it to ourselves. What are the children now going to say years from now? 12, 13, 14 years old. They're going through the changes of adolescence. We understand that. But what memories are they going to talk about? Man, we used to text all day. We had fun texting. What happened to sitting on the stoop, the front steps, and being bored with your friends? Like, yo, I didn't have nothing to do. You had idle time. You told stupid jokes. You were there for the joy of being there. Now the children are antisocial. They don't want to deal with each other. They don't want to go outside and play football, go to the park and play basketball. You don't see young girls skipping rope anymore. They don't buy ropes anymore. We don't see the pigtails anymore. We don't see the chalk lines in the street anymore. No indication of children. And of course, things are twisted because we have human trafficking. We have our kids, all of the girls missing. And you know, they're the wrong hue to get the attention, but they go missing. Out here in the motherland, I could only imagine. I don't have the statistics on it, but it's a free-for-all. Imagine, you have young girls who are born way out from the bigger cities. There's no documentation of them being born. Why? You know, you have a thing called a Ghana card. And you have to register and prove who you are to get that card. So it's used as a form of ID. I learned that many Ghanaians don't even have a Ghana card. So what about that young girl who was born 10, 11 years ago? And you got some people that go around and they see that. And you turn your back and she's gone. What are you going to do? How are you going to describe who she was when she's not registered? You just don't know. So I understand why we don't allow our children to play outside like we used to, but what loss of power are we accepting? We got to get mad righteously. Like, no, my child's going to have a childhood. And I'm going to sit up in this front, and all the parents going to sit up in the front, and anything strange drive through here, they're going to have to deal with us. But the passage of time, as we get older, we do have good memories from the past, but we're thinking about the past because the memories of the past are so sweet. And the memories of the present, the doom and gloom that's preached. And I say preach, they preaching. The evening news is the quickest way to get depressed. And we know. And they lie to us. They lie to us. The economy is improving. It's improving. Everything's looking up. Yeah, but the dollar is down. You got to work 3 times as hard. Having one job to support everything is a thing of the past. There are some people who work one job, but usually you don't have as high a rent. You don't have children. You don't have a spouse. You ain't going out nowhere. You got to live tight to make it in most cases. And you have the people on the other side who are wealthy and affluent. I understand that. But it's a different world so quick. This world was not supposed to change this quick. Anybody like, okay, I'm 61 in April. Go back and think about the world that was promised to us if you follow the rules. If you go and say to yourself, okay, you know what? I'm going to stay in school. I'm not going to have children too young. I'm not going to break the law. I'm going to sacrifice and do the right thing. And look at us now. Look at the ages we are now. And yes, some of us have done the right thing and have their homes paid for and their kids through college. But the love is sucked out. Men would rather sit at home with their big jar of lubricant and watch the screen while they make the keyboard sticky from their ejaculate and crotch sauce. These women ain't no good. They just gold diggers. This thing has been used as a force to break us up and break up our families. We don't have any connection. What good is the fan the floor standing fan that you put next to your bed in a heat wave sometime if you can't have it plugged in? How many of us have gone to bed, but before going to bed, we put the cell phone in the cell phone charger or take the wire and plug it in and say, okay, I know it's 2% now, but when I wake up, guess what? It's going to be 100%. And you wake up and it's off. Why is it off? Because it wasn't plugged in. And we're off because we're not plugged in. We're not plugged into reality. So this government and the governments of the world, but more so the U.S. government, this is part of it all. Because YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and any American social media platform, they did this so we can give it up. What happened to back in the day when our sisters would say, man, I ain't telling my business. No, I ain't gonna, Now we tell it all. Every time we eat a meal, every time we fall sick, we even tell all the burglars what time we're going to go on vacation and wonder why they broke into our house. Now we have to post all the time. Now see, okay, people might say, well, SCURV, that's you. You do it every day. And yes, I do. I do it every day because this is what I do. And people know a lot about me. Of course they do. But there's a lot of things you don't know. When I moved to Africa, I didn't broadcast that to everybody. There are moves I'm doing now. I'm an independent thinker. And this is why they put me through so much hell on social media, which it doesn't bother me because all this is going to end one day because this is about gathering information. You have these supercomputers now, right? You have artificial intelligence. Where in the hell did this thing come from called artificial intelligence? It's not of this world, y'all. I utilize it, but I'm not sharing too much of myself. Now you go on social media like Snapchat. And to me, that's not all real people. Those are bots and those are alien forces. Yes, I'm saying it. I ain't crazy. And they admit, the government, yes, we've had contacts with aliens. They're telling you this. They're telling you this. And they have compromised the people of the planet. And a lot of things going on. And just like the interview with Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin, that had to have a lot of people pooping in the American government, because what he was saying is breaking down the propaganda against him. America has a lot of blood on their hands, and they can't hide it anymore. From way back, that's why they wait, 75 years before they declassify certain things. Could you imagine? 75 years from now, what's going to come out about today? But most of us won't be there. I mean, I'd like to be around, but I mean, do I really want to break the process and be what now? 75 plus 61, or almost 61? I wouldn't be as nice looking as I am on the banner. I'd look like a monster. Well, who wants to be here? Right? But could you imagine? Could you imagine when they declassify information about 911? But see, remember, 911 was in 2001. This is 2024. That was 23 years ago. 2 more years, it'll be a quarter of a century. But that's when social media was introduced to us. And then the cell phone got married to the internet, and we didn't have to go and check our emails anymore at home on the computer. Isn't that something? So once that happened, and we didn't have to use a calling card anymore to call down to Jamaica, to call to Africa, Mexico, South America, you know them calling cards, that wiped that business out. And we had the gift of social media. But you better look that gift horse in the mouth, because every communication, everything we've ever said, we're all labeled. We're all like tag pigeons, even me. It's too late for me. I'm not even trying to, I'm not even trying to fight it. I know, I know for a fact, it's been told to me by people in different agencies that I know. I didn't do anything bad. They're just watching me because I'm not bending to the propaganda, and I got a big mouth. And I speak what's on my mind. I'm not a great mind or a great person or trying to put myself out there as one of the great thinkers of the 21st century. No, I'm just that dude that just sees it. Like many of you who are here, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, we all over the place up in this bad boy. And there's a lot of us out here. And we need to stand up, because what they're planning for us now is beyond what we could imagine. Sinister. These so-called elite leaders of the world, they already have the plan. They compromise with aliens, demonics, aliens. Not something up in the sky and then, oh yeah, they'll put something up in the sky, distract you. It's coming from the sky. No. It could be your supervisor. It could be your next door neighbor. They're here already. We deal with them. This is why they can't stand us. This is why they want to wipe us off the face of the earth. This is why the sun burns them. Because they're aliens and they're hateful and they have a documented history of war and bloodshed. Oh yeah, some of us are aliens too. But we're the most forgiving people, the most loving people when we're left alone without their baubles and trinkets and rubies and things to influence us in the drugs and all that stuff. You'll never have any joy following behind them people, them aliens. They can't say it's hate speech, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. Look at that. The brain chip. Yes. 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 8 millionaire, welcome on in. Good to see you. Good to see you. They're playing around with us in ways we don't even realize. Remember back in 2020 when all those towers were being put up? Huh? And you have people coming around to your house where you live. Do you have internet? What kind of internet do you have? That was creepy. I can't say the word, but the reason why many people had to wear the mask and you couldn't go out after a certain time. In Central Florida, there was a curfew. I'm quite sure it was like that in other states too. So what is an organism is going to go to sleep at a certain time or come out at a certain time? More so at night. What didn't they want to have you see? They setting up holograms, y'all. So all y'all out there, when you see Jesus come through the clouds, oh my God, Jesus is back. Oh. And everybody's going to see the thing that's most impressive to them, that will get a rise out of them, right? They're going to see Prophet Muhammad. Whatever you into, you're going to see. You might be as evil as can be and see Satan himself as a hologram coming after you. There's going to be mayhem. There's going to be food shortages. See, this is what cracks me up. And I know Christianity quite well. So I'm going to pick on the Christians. You read the Bible. You talk about this stuff that's going to happen. And now you see it unfolding in front of you. Now you're in denial about it. But way back when you were thumping people with it, you were talking about it. Are you ready? Are you ready? See, you were running your mouth like you thought you knew what you were talking about. Like, yeah, this is really going to happen. But you know what? You didn't believe it. And now you see it. And you want to go crazy now. You know, I got somebody on Twitch always trying to sell me something. Well, you can get more followers if you pay a certain money. No, I'll keep it in the mud. YouTube is removing followers. Let them remove it. I'm going to be the first man to have negative 250 hits on a video. They got me locked. They got me locked like two dogs out in the yard that trying to disengage, and they're locked. And they're throwing rocks at me. You got to. There's so much deception, and we suck it up. The news says what they want to say, but on the other side of the world, there's a truth that you'll never know because they want to keep you from truth. We don't even depend on our own mind anymore. Have you noticed that our youngsters can't even think the way we used to think back in the day? The chemicals in the food, the things in the plastic bottles that we're drinking out of, the air they're breathing. And we think those chemicals that are in them orange cheese doodles are innocent. And then we go grab another set of chips. Look, you know when you take medication, they say you're supposed to stay away from alcohol. You know when you take medication, they say don't take other medications unless it's approved by your doctor. There's certain medications that you can't take together. There's certain ones that you can possibly take together, right? So all these different things and foods stored up in the fat in your body, you don't know the reaction now because it's become something new. Don't you know these chemicals are stored in the fat in your body? And when you begin to lose the fat on your body, and I'm going to get back on the topic now, there's something called the cleansing effect. When you start to train or run or cut back on the calories and you break down the fat, it re-releases all of those things en masse back into the bloodstream, and you begin to have cold symptoms. Ain't it something? You start sniffing. The mucus starts coming. You feel dizzy because all of those things are being released back into your system. I know what I'm talking about. This is something I know. If you know me, you know why I know. I ain't going to keep saying it. And so this is the way it is with social media. They're gathering intel on all of us. And they're just about done. I remember reading in the Village Voice back in the 80s about how certain words spoken over the phone, not by itself, but 2 or 3 words together in a conversation, the government was listening to you. I'm not a quack. I'm telling you. You'd be surprised the technology that we have now that we think is so hot. Oh, I got the new iPhone and I got the new Samsung. But the technology was back from the 70s and 60s. I know men who were in the military back then from the Vietnam War and told me about the robots that came up out of the ground and walked around. There are things out here, and we're so pompous and we're so arrogant and we got our butt up on our shoulders, so far up on the shoulders that, like, there was a young lady when I was in the correction academy, and I would always joke, and if a person can't take a joke, I'm not going to say it. But she had tough skin. We joked about each other. And one day I said, you know what? You got a knapsack booty. And she said, what you mean by that? Everybody started laughing. I said, because your butt is so high up behind your shoulders, if you want to scratch your ass, you just have to reach your hand over your shoulder because it's right there like a neck rest. But some of us don't have a high backside and our butt is up on our shoulders. Because this little gadgetry, man-made gadgetry, you have so much reverence and respect for, but your own body you don't take care of. You poison your body every day. You might as well put a noose around your neck and jump off of a tree. Tie it up. You're doing the same thing. You're killing yourself slowly. The generations behind you, you're not showing them nothing different. You're letting them eat these bad foods and turning into idiots. Looking at the smartphone. And you know what? They can take the phone out the box at 3 years old and work that phone and hand it back to you. Program your name in it. I'm not saying 3, 6, 7 years old, but even a 3rd-year-old, leave them in the room with a smartphone after a while. It's intuitive. And it latches onto them. It could be a wonderful tool. But you looking into that phone is snatching your soul if you don't come with something. If you're an empty vessel, it's going to suck it out of you. Oh, SCURV, you're talking craziness. No, I'm going to prove it to you. You walk down the street, and I've said this before. Say it's 10 o'clock in the morning, you walk down the street. If you're going to go walk to the bus or you have a car but you happen to walk, it's sunny. Nobody's out. It's quiet. But you feel something. And you look up on the 2nd or 3rd floor of a private residence and you see somebody in the window looking at you. They didn't make a noise or anything. They're looking at you. You felt the energy from their gaze. You think I'm stupid for saying that? Well, you know how you can hold up your phone and it identifies who is holding that phone by looking in your eyes, and it releases. How does a machine react with the human body in such a way? They say the eyes are the mirror to the soul. Be careful who you give your eye contact to. Be careful who you stare at. Be careful of people who wear shades, these reptilians who are hiding themselves amongst you. Artificial intelligence. How do you do this? It's one thing to have Google where they have everything on file and you could search it. But now you can speak to these things and it comes back at you so fast. There's something alien about that. There's something alien about that. And there's a lot of technology out here that knows you in and out. But as far as the independent thinkers are concerned, they're starting to crack down on us on social media. They know who we are. And don't think that you don't have agents on social media who are influencers. I'm not even going to name names, but you know I've been in this game for a long time. I've been in this game for a long time. And a lot of these people on social media who you look up to are damn frauds. They are the sleeper cells. They are the ones who are waiting for the government that allowed them to be popular with all the mess they put out there, cleaned them up, gave them 1 million subscribers. And they've won our trust because they're so respectable with their tie on. But 12 and 13 years ago, they were calling black women hairy-hatted hoes and no good breeders. And all they did was post up videos to make us look bad to the delight of the aliens. And I would feel and believe that, hey, let's make them an offer that they can't refuse, because too many of us want to be popular. We want to have big numbers. See, I always ran my mouth. I was quiet around some people if I didn't know them. But when you got to know me and in my inner circle, I always spoke my mind. I'm quite a comedian, but many don't know that. But I'm dead serious. When I see something, and I'm not going to hold back because somebody else doesn't see it. You might see it 7, 8, 9 years from now. You might see it in 2 seconds. I'm not saying I'm always right. But when I know that I know something, I don't care how long it takes, it's going to be revealed. I don't have any magic power. I'm full of the Holy Ghost. No, I'm not saying that. But we all have our instincts. We all have the gift of discernment. We all have the third eye. It's up to you to remove the crust from in your eye. You ever had the flu so bad or a cold so bad that when you woke up, your eyelashes were glued together and you had to take your finger, a thumb on the bottom and the finger and pull your eye open and pull all that stuff off of you? Big wad of yogurt in the corner of your eye? You see what I mean? Yeah, we all have it, but we're not tuned up. And how do you tune up? You got to go within yourself and cut yourself off from all this noise that's out here that's making you feel the passage of time go faster. And it is going faster. I feel it's about 16 hours in the day that we have in actuality, but the clock moves a little faster. And you look at the clock is just a tool. It's going to roll after the fact. Come on now. You think it's 24 hours in a day? The real 24 hours was decades ago. We had time to watch the sunset. You had time with your friends. Now we have no time for anything. You couple that with the fact that there's less love in the world. We all want to be the star. We all want to drive the most expensive car. We all want to have the biggest house. We all want to have the sexiest body. We all want to stand up against gravity as men and last long. For what? For what? I'm happier at this age when I was at 20, when every time the wind blew, boing, yoing, 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 it's agony being horny all the time. It is. You got to satisfy that need all the time when you're young, and that's all you think about because testosterone is hitting you. It's like a guy on steroids. Then slowly but surely, it fades. It's a natural thing. But we got them little blue pills and the ego of most of these men. I know so many of them personally. I'm not going to mention no names. Half of them you don't even know. But you know a lot of people share things with me. And it's a trap because we don't understand the passage of time. I remember when Michael Jackson, what was it, back in 82, did the moonwalk on the Motown show. And he kind of messed up at the end, but it was still spectacular. And everybody the next day, they were talking about it at work. Oh, did you see it? People had VCRs, but most people didn't have VCRs because they were so damn expensive. The price came down. But now we can hold a phone in our hand. Could you imagine if somebody walked around with that back in the 70s or the early 80s, bragging about VCRs? You go back in time, people would flip. You can do FaceTime with somebody. This thing captivated us so much, and it's become a prestige symbol. When you got the best phone, everybody's the newest and the best, everybody's looking at it. And we get caught up in that. We get the case, and yes, it's a new, oh, let me see what it looks like. You got insurance on your phone because it's a little computer now. And it's a computer that's manipulated that we don't have to think anymore because they don't want thinkers. You go to the phone to think for you. You got artificial intelligence and these different chat bots. Tell me this and tell me that. We go more to that than we do seeking the creator who made us. I'm not saying churches where you're going to find them. That's a building. That's not going to teach you nothing. Like I said before, that's like learning how to ride a bike from reading a book. Well, I read this book for 3 months and I passed the course, so I should just get on a bike and ride. And you're going to bust your knees open thinking like that. You got to get on that bike. The same way you got to get on yourself and meditate within yourself and really figure this thing out. Most of us don't have it figured out. We've fallen deeper into it. The passage of time, we're so distracted because we're preoccupied and focusing on the wrong thing, and they throw these things at us, and you're scrolling and scrolling, looking for the perfect ass, looking for the perfect dude that got enough money to just roll up in your life and take away your troubles and your woes, because he's going to take care of you for the rest of your life. But you don't want to build with a brother who looks like you, who may not have as much, but he has a mind and a heart and the determination. He might be 5'2". He may not be too handsome, but that's the very man that will love you and cherish you and put you in a stable situation, even though he may not be a millionaire. But we work so hard to look rich, and we don't have it like that. You may be rich, but you ain't wealthy. Wealthy is where your next 15 generations don't have to do a damn thing. And by the time it gets to the 15, they'll be even more wealthy. The gap is widening now. Middle class, middle gap, y'all. Middle gap. If you can't leave the middle class and go a little higher financially, you're going to fall right on down. The man-made engineered system. But we love it so much, which we say we love God. I'll say God, but not in the European sense. Okay? I'm not trying to push that. The best and strongest manifestation of God is in nature. It's in nature. Because man don't control that. He's trying to now. GMO foods, longer shelf life for better sales. I see this almost every show. When was the last time you picked a mango off a mango tree and the mango called you back? Hey, you owe me $1.50 or $2 for that mango you just picked. It's there for us for free. And this is what the aliens don't like. The aliens want to rule us. They want to take away the gifts, and I'll say it this way, that our father and mother had for us. And the only way that we can truly live is to go into that system, but it's too basic. We don't have the name brand stuff living off the grid. We got to show others that we have this and that. Willing slaves, that's what you've become. Just like the people who were enslaved. I'm not calling my ancestors slaves. They were enslaved. But after a while, not that first or second generation where they can still speak the native language, but as we got caught up, mixed up, embedded with the aliens, we started to feel proud of the branding on our flesh. We started to enjoy the fact that, yes, I come from the Johnson plantation. And the Johnson plantation owns more acreage in the state of Virginia than any other. They didn't say it like that. But the more powerful the massa is, the more powerful we feel. The more powerful the job and position we have under massa is, the more we push out our chest, right? The bigger the church. Yeah, another form of branding. And you got more chaos in them places than anything else. More superficial mentalities than anything else. More materialism than anything else as we strut. And we look down on the people out there with nothing. I'm not saying you're supposed to give away everything that you have. No, but we look down on them. We're better. I live in a better neighborhood. Even trying to talk like them aliens. And we don't want any modicum or reminder of what we are. Bleaching our daggone skin to look whiter and more acceptable to the aliens that still can't stand your black ass, even though you try to take all the color out of it. What's wrong with you? And an independent thinker comes around you and you get scared in their presence. Because you know your massa doesn't approve of him. So you can't really hang around. Oh, he dangerous. He trying to start some trouble. See? Independent thinkers will be arrested. Because now the system of these aliens have us all like tag pigeons now. They know who we are. They will come and just snatch us up when we're the ones who are the rabble rousers by telling the truth on who they are. But they do it by saying, oh, you have harmful content on social media. You have hate speech. But self-hate is acceptable. You have so many black women saying how the black men are no good, and so many black men saying they don't like the black woman no more, so they want to mix with everybody else. See, they know we're the strongest. It's okay when we mix now because of BIRTHRATES of them is going low. So how do you make a weak metal in science stronger? You get a stronger metal, melt them together, and create an alloy. So this is how they're using their social media and their television commercials to program us. Because when's the last time you see a TV show that had a straight black man, respectable, well-spoken, upright, eyes not bloodshot, looking like stop signs, who cares for his wife and his family, a nuclear family? They don't push that. Now, I'm not going to reveal my sources, but there is a list that they give out in Hollywood to focus on, I forgot what the term was, but these disadvantaged groups. They're not disadvantaged, but what they want to push. And now they want to come to Africa and push this. I said it before. I can say it because that person knows. I'm not going to reveal who it is. And they tell me things. And I could kind of bend it and not bend the truth, but share what I know, what I'm told. Recently, in Nigeria, you know those juicy, good old Nigerian movies? Hollywood, I'm not saying all of Hollywood, the big producers and different, they had a meeting over there, basically saying, hey, I'm going to say it just as it is. I'm not going to say it the way they said it. If you want this big time Hollywood money and Netflix connections to blow up, you're going to have a LGBTQ main character in it, and most likely it should be a male. See, like I said before, and I end up seeing this on every show, because I don't know how long before YouTube says, you know what, you out of here. But when they gentrify a neighborhood, they take time. I'm not going to go through saying the whole thing, but it's a 20, 25-year plan. When they target an area, because they got to get the people out of there. So it's not just you who are up in your years. It's targeting those who are coming behind you. And isn't that wicked? I used to see in Central Florida when I used to drive the bus, and I'm going to have to stand up. I'm talking about the bus, I used to sit down all the time and stand up every chance I get. But I used to see the cops, the police, the alien police, and some of the ones that look like us, but they're aliens because of the way they think. I used to see them playing with the young little black kids and black girls, and they're smiling with them and laughing with them. And people say, who are damn stupid, oh, that's so nice. This reminds me of back in the day when the police used to walk a beat and get along with everybody. Well, where the hell you grow up? Because I remember seeing back in the old Jet magazines and the reruns of what happened before on Eyes on the Prize, they weren't friendly with us, sicking dogs on us and water hoses, fire hoses. Come on now. What planet did you grow up on? And those same very ones that are playing with those young men and young women. 15 years go by, and they're going to be arresting those young men and beating them down. The innocent ones. And they're going to be lusting and checking out them young black girls. Little girls they played with innocently, seemingly. they're going to be trying to get with them in their patrol car. I'm not saying all cops are like that, but most know what's happening. And I grew up with some individuals that were really good cops, moral men. And there was a lot going on around them. But we're twisted. We're distracted. What good is a security guard when he's asleep on the post? What good is he? It's no good. You tiptoe right on past him, go in that little warehouse that he's guarding, laughing at him with the clipboard. Clipboard done fell on the ground. Yeah, man. Damn, baby, that was good. Dreaming about what he wants to do when he goes home. She's probably already home, getting it from somebody else. That's a whole other topic. Because our minds have been taken over. And those who think for themselves, speak from what they know, talk out of the spirit. They don't look at the surface. They're not swayed by the surface. They're not compromised by somebody trying to offer them the object of their lust. And now they're ready to give it all up just to get that thing. And I don't mean, see, we think sex when we talk about lust. We have so many different ways of lust that take us over and captivate us and compromise us. How much money would it take for a person to go to bed with you? Now, I know most men go, yeah, I don't need no money. I like, shoot, you look good. No. And you know the joke. Can I pay you to have sex with me, woman? What kind of woman do you think I am? I'll give you $200. Oh, no. Well, how about this $5 million? Oh, my room number is 135, baby. Come on up for a night of heaven. You see what I mean? Most people have their price. And when social media sees an influencer who, no matter how much they try to scare them away or shadow ban them and take away this and take away that and hide your numbers. And look, I have over 117,000 subscribers. It's been frozen for a while. And you mean to tell me when the notifications go out, it's only 15, 16, and 17? Because they're not doing what they should do? And I want to say this is why they hate TikTok so much. Because I can get up and say things on TikTok and on Rumble that they can't control. But on the flip side, though, the TikTok that we have in America, in the whole world, except China, China has TikTok, but you ain't putting them booties up there and saying, and all that half-naked stuff, they ain't going for it. They censor the version themselves and give the crappy TikTok to the world to take over our minds while they learn to dominate us, while they're not caught up in the name brand stuff. And they see each other as one. They got problems over there. Yeah, they do. When compared to the rest of the world, especially black folks in the United States, they see each other as one. They have a mentality of oneness when it comes down to it. Something going down, one of our sisters and somebody's violating her, we pull the camera out. We're always looking for rank and file. All the time. Over each other. We always look for the differences. I don't know if you saw that Bernie Mac joke that was going around, where the Mexican guy and a white guy was saying, I don't think you're going to make it to heaven. And the Mexican guy said, well, the way that you can get to heaven, because I know you ain't going to get there, is that you have to ask God a question that he can't answer. So Bernie Mac went through the whole, you know, how he went up to God and he whispered in God's ear, and God looked down left, looked down the right, looked up in the sky and said, open the gates to heaven and let them on in. And the white guy and the Mexican guy ran up to God and said, what the hell did that black man say to you that you couldn't answer because you God and you let him on in heaven? And God said, He asked me, will black people ever unify? And he dropped the mic and ran off. Ain't that something? We are our own worst enemy. And now, because of social media, our heads are more screwed up. Because while other races are seeing themselves the same, we do everything that we can to separate myself or separate themselves. They do. I'm light. You one of them dark Negroes. We can't mix from you. We trying to lighten ourselves up. You have a darker complected family. Not all, because we have our brothers and sisters who are proud of who they are. But as soon as something high yellow or mixed with something come around, you better make sure to marry that girl. You're going to have some pretty babies. Y'all are sick. And I'm tired of it. And then y'all hate me for saying it. I'm not the one who buys up all the bleaching cream. You got it out here. You got it down in the Caribbean. You got it's just for a pimple. It's a dark spot. So I want to lighten it up. Your whole damn face is a dark spot. There's a little black spot on the sun today. And that's how they think you when you're moving their subdivisions. Come back in 5 years, they're all gone. What is wrong with y'all? I'm from the north and you're from the south. I'm a Christian and you're a Muslim. I'm straight and you're gay. And I should know if you're gay or not. You should know what I am. Nobody should know what they are in public. You should know what I do in my bedroom. Why are we pushing all these things? Because certain lifestyles are one big form of birth control. Because like I say, ain't no life coming up out of no next man's anus. I don't know any lesbian that got sperm. Super sperm. What's his name there? Captain Rock. Who made that song back in the 70s? You better celebrate sperm. We got low sperm counts now. Black men prostrate, cancer, and different things. Black men turn to the next black men. That's what they want. We're not independent thinkers on the most part, because some of our sisters run behind. Want to hang out at the club with these dudes which wearing a dress. Oh, he's my friend. He's so cute. Encouraging that mess, and you got a son, and that son might grow up to be that way because he sees that influence and you approve of that, and then you turn around and talk about how black men ain't no good. Well, look what you hanging out with. And look what you're helping to rear. And then that son's going to hear that no black man any good. He ain't going to want to be no strong black man. Black men are inherently strong anyway. We need to stop. I'm a strong black man. Show me a weak one. The only ones that are weak are partaking in the practices of what happens around them aliens. That's how you weaken yourself. And you can still get big muscles as a black man. Muscles don't make you strong or weak. It's your resiliency. It's your vision. It's your determination. It's your focus. It's all of these things to be a man and focus on building something that lasts long after you. You're a weak-ass man if you pass to this world and you left nothing behind. And it doesn't mean that you sprayed up your crotch sauce up in the womb of a woman. Oh, I got 39 kids. I got my legacy. And you never see them. They don't know nothing about you, never learn nothing about you. They didn't have no wisdom to give you because you're busy spraying up in other ones. That's not it. And like I always say on most shows, a good father is a father who will set his family up that if you remove him, they still go strong with the wisdom that you gave them. And on the financial level, how you set them up. But other than that, just making babies ain't doing nothing. Dogs are humping out in the street, making more babies. Every creature procreates. But if we're supposed to be the ones that have the higher mind, you gave another soul a body, but what did you put in their head? And sometimes, and oftentimes in the black community, we're in so much pain and so broke. Well, what do our young kids want to do? Do something to feel good to get away from the pain. If it's not drugs, liquor, doing something stupid, it's let's have sex. Ain't got nothing else to do. And now here comes a baby. What you going to do? You try to dress it up like you planned it. There are some who do. But that's in the minority. You got to scramble now because we got a baby coming on the way. Now you married the very woman that you took time to charm. You charmed out them panties, and you got it. But you don't want to stay around for the responsibility part now. See, I'm not going to say God did it wrong. we should see what it is that we lust after righteously too sometimes, and we need to have that responsibility part first before we get it. Somebody broke down how things go. Somebody gave in. I'm not blaming the woman. I'm not blaming the man. Then when a man wants to show responsibility and do the right thing, you think he gay. Because y'all like the men who are hitting on you and trying you deep down. I'm not saying disrespecting you, but pursuing you. Doesn't it make you moist? Hey, girl, you know you're looking so good. I want to hang out with you. And you tell your girlfriends, and the way he was looking at me, and I was looking in the mirror, I was looking in the reflection of the window, and he was looking at my bud. What you want him to look at? But if he wants that butt, if he want them titties, I'm going to just tell you how it is. And he see them nice full lips in the way you sucking on that candy cane. What you think he thinking? Like one time, there was a girlfriend that I had. It was back in 1977. I can say her first name. Her name was Angie. And I was sitting down. This was some little boyhood, you know. I was 14 years old. Wasn't nothing happening. Except a little touch here and there, a little kissy. Right? So love after school. Let's sit down, right? Because, you know, the mother was always upstairs and the father wasn't there. It rained real bad. And the mother said, no. There's a lot of lightning out there, Lance. You stay here for a while. So I fell asleep on the couch and I had my arm around her. So she starts kissing on me and I start putting my hands on her. We dozed off again. And my right hand was on her right butt cheek because my hand was behind her on the couch. So I was gripping it like a basketball. Fell asleep. Woke up and the father came home early. Pouring down raining. Now you know when it's raining. And you have things to do, but you're still home and you might be home for the day. Let me take a little 15-minute nap. You know you lying to yourself. 15 minutes becomes 5 hours. You look at the clock. Well, I was 5 hours. I guess I ain't going to get nothing done today. And you go back. I didn't plan on staying there that long. So the father was there. And he was a wino. He wasn't just a drunk. He was a wino. See, drunks stagger. You know, alcoholics, you know, they can hold it together sometime until they start staggering. But winos, they'll stare at you cross-eyed before they realize who you are for 15 seconds. Lip hanging down, lip all red. And why the winos, the bottom lip, especially when you're a black man, it get all discolored, all light, way up by the teeth, the bottom teeth, I don't know. And he was looking at me. And my hand was on her butt. The way I felt, I wish she was sitting on the other side of the couch. Or I was sitting on another couch or something. And I said, hi, Mr. So-and-so, whatever his name was. Let me tell you something, son. He was mad because he saw me with my hand on her right derriere cheek. Let me tell you something, or let me ask you something, son. Are you feeding her ass? You know, I got to be polite now. No. Are you putting clothes on that ass? No, sir. Are you keeping a roof over that ass? I said, no. Are you keeping food on that ass, in that ass? I said, no. Are you paying bills for that ass? I said, no, sir. Then get your goddamn hands off that ass and find yourself up on out of here before I have to whip your ass. I flew out the door so fast, and he was sitting in the single seater next to the door. I pulled away so fast, I thought I still saw my hand on her ass. I was out. Never came back. I saw in school, I woke up when you were running out the door. What did he say to you? And I never went back. See? Because we want the pleasure before we get the responsibility, and then we find ourselves in trouble. We're not raising independent thinkers anymore. It doesn't mean that in your adolescence that you don't give in to your little feelings, but these days it's just so dangerous. We need stronger instruction right now because the subsequent generations are getting watered down. In one sense, but the prior generation's way of being raised, we can't apply that to the present day. They are weak on one hand, but they're resistant to what we want to give them because they get bombarded with what's out in the real world. It's become the real world. It's more real to them than what we tell them. They don't want to hear what we tell them. They don't want to be independent thinkers. They want the group thing going on. Come on now. You know, back in the day, if you saw, I'm talking to the sisters, another sister walking the party, the house party with a dress that you just bought. Now, you might not run away home and change it, but you don't like it. You don't like it. Now, it's not the other woman's fault. Oh, man, she got the same dress on like me. Oh, man. Because we wanted to stand out. We wanted to be unique. But now, it's all cookie cutter. Y'all remember, I say around what year? This is 2024. Was it 2010 or 9 or 8? When Nicki Minaj first came out, all these young black girls talking like Nicki Minaj. Pushing what breasts they had up together. I don't care if it was breasts that looked like padlocks on a locker. They pushed them together, talking a certain way. Following behind Nicki Minaj, talking filthy. Look, when we were growing up, we had Richard Pryor albums, Dolomite, Red Fox, Rudy Ray Moore. And we would go down to the record player in the basement and play it real low. But we didn't see any visuals. We had our imagination. And it was real funny humor. It was adult. It was somewhat even wholesome. The rap music today is not rap music like I knew growing up. It's infused with demonic energy and filth, guaranteed to bring us down on the lowest levels because we're not independent thinkers. And we don't want to hear what our parents are saying. To sexualize you. Let's make up a word. To homoalize you as men. From young. Lil Nas X, little demon. Little demon. If all things go the way they say biblically, and he finds himself in front of God on Judgment Day, he ain't got no chance. And they say, oh, who have come short or fallen short. You know what I mean? Nah. You can fall short, but he trying to pull down boys' shorts and show the world how to do that. And who's backing this up? Who runs the entertainment industry? Kanye West? I think he told us, didn't he? And we're supposed to hold these people in reverence as the chosen people of God. What God? Ain't nothing good about that. Why don't they turn that poison they're putting on us and turn it around on them? Why don't they do it? Why don't they do it? Because they want us to be degraded. They have no respect for us, but we're supposed to have respect for them. We don't get reparations, but they get aid in the billions every year. And they're looking for ways to give it to them. Why? They didn't build this country, but it's not about that. Aliens are going to look out for aliens. That's why they will let illegal aliens come into the country to replace us, to get a taste of what it's like to be like the other. So they'll get the loyalty of them, so that when they come at us now, they'll see us as the enemy. See, this devil, this demon, this alien is so slick. If you pull back sometime and remove your emotions and understand that we are at a war, in a war rather, this little temporary escape of living for the weekend and trying to get with that honey over there and that honey over there. I don't want no name brand damn stuff. I don't want no jewelry. I was in the Achimota Mall, way on the other side of Accra. And a young lady was standing out in front because the store was empty, and it's Sunday, you know, things will be empty. Excuse me, sir, could you come and take a look at what we have here? I said, well, it's only women's things there. Well, you can come buy something. I said, well, you trying to tell me I'm going to wear something? We have men's things. I was being funny. Do you have a wife? I said, no. Do you have a sister? I said, no. Do you have a mother? I said, well, she passed away in 1994. Well, we have bags like the one you have, the knapsack. I say about 4 or 5 knapsacks. And that's not made for camera equipment. I wasn't being mean, but she was trying to find a way to come into that store. But if I was an easy mark, oh, well, maybe I do need this. Or the thrill of buying something new. The thrill of buying something new and the price of food is up in $1 a week. You can't eat them things that you have, the stuff that we buy, we don't need. I don't even wear the little handmade jewelry they make anymore out here. I don't know what's on it. You got to be an independent thinker. You better watch when people give you things. Oh, wear this bracelet. They done prayed over it. They done put an energy on it. They manipulated something on it, and you wonder why your life is going so bad. And when you get rid of these things and these gifts, all these people want to give you things. Oh, you can put this over the fireplace. I think that'll be nice. Might be a damn camera in there. Or it might be something that all kind of people done prayed over. People are into some weird shit these days. May I say it that way? And instead of thinking or critically thinking or thinking logically, see, they'll run to that. Now, let me tell you something. There is truth to that. But 99.9% of the people don't know what the hell they doing. They just reaching. They learn one little thing and get an 800 number, and they're going to instruct you on something, and their life is all jacked up. Ain't that something? But there is some truth to it. Stop playing around with things you don't know. I've seen a lot of things out here in the motherland, and you have a lot of foolish people too. Because some very people who you run into, they want the name brand stuff. And if it's all this goodness, then why are you charging? People will say that. But why the pastor charging? Used to be one time you go into a church, they pass around the offering plate and that's it. They pass it around 8 times now. Got ATMs on the inside. For what? And like I said, you have an issue with your spouse. And you go to the marriage counselor, telling them your problems, your challenges and your issues. And he looking at you, yeah, your wife got them nice big legs and you ain't doing what you got to do. Let me counsel her one-on-one for a time. I bet you when he does, that door in that church will be locked in his office. And she'll be part with the Holy Ghost, or rather the horny ghost. All this deception. And when somebody calls it out, you're a troublemaker. Because the people who are deceiving you, they're hustling you. They're sucking your life force. That's what it's really all about. Sucking your life force. Reducing you. making it where you can't even enjoy a real life. There's so many people born on this planet right now that are not enjoying a real life. It's a watered down substitute life. Life force vibrates at 100%. But most of us are like smartphones have been used all day. 7% charge, 3% charge. Come on now. Before our systems physically were clogged up, we'd get up in the morning time on the day that we didn't have to go to school, most likely a Saturday. If we had chores, we did it. We'd run outside all day long, not even realize that we're hungry because our engines were clean. We come in and get something to drink, put the cup down, and run back outside again. We can think clearer. We would see things faster. Maybe you can't remember, but you would see the spirits on people when you were a child easier. But we got all this stuff in our head now, clogging us up, rendering us paralyzed. Can't even think because our minds are clogged up. You remember how your body was when it was free of all this crap, but there's things now coming from social media to keep us from becoming independent thinkers. And then where we still are after they've been attacking our mind, oh, we got to get rid of him because he's resistant. Right? Like that bacteria, that thing in your body that when you take the penicillin, it's resistant to it. I'm resistant to stupidity. Sometimes I'll cloak myself in stupidity to get past the radar of those who want to look and find the independent thinkers. You trying to escape off the plantation. And you got some white man sitting there that you didn't anticipate. Hey, nigga, where are you going? Oh, I'm just going over here to make sure that, you know, that tree that we cut down is still cut down because, you know, the other people's here, you know, my other slaves, they don't always want to do this work. Oh, good, nigga, just go on over there and look and just get on back and where you, you know what I mean? And it hurt him because he was trying to escape. Damn, I got to wait for another night. You got to sometimes cloak yourself because a lot of us who look like us are agents. Go to a new job, everybody's smiling at you because they want information out of you. And they'll send that one little coon to kind of talk like you to extract more out of you. And you'll go for it. And he'll run on back and tell. Oh, he was reading an autobiography of Malcolm X. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. And he said he don't eat pork. And he said he don't drink. And he got a woman, but, you know, I was trying to get him to, you know, Serena over there. She got that nice ass. We all been trying to get it. And he ain't even pay her no mind. He's one of those dangerous ones. We got to watch him. That's how they get us. By the lower vibrations. That's why they put all this stuff on social media, but they go at somebody who's speaking some kind of truth to make you think and say, yeah, you know, that's kind of right. That's another chop in the tree of ignorance. You keep chopping, it's going to fall. So they don't want you to hear that stuff. They don't even want you to be you anymore. They don't want you to have a unique personality. They want you scared to talk. And it will be that way when the digital cash comes around, just like they do in China now. If you speak out against the government or speak out against certain things, they will limit what you can spend of your money. Imagine that. You know how black folks get? That check don't come in. Remember the days we had to go to the job to get a check? We don't want it in the mail. It might get lost. Take a couple days. We need that check now. You drive back to the other city where you working. I'm getting my check. What you mean the check ain't in, man? I need my money. I need my money. We get ignorant quick when we don't have our money. What? Well, we can forge you. No, little bit, man. I need money for my bills, my kids, and my food. You see what I mean? We have no sense of urgency to hold on to our sanity. And this is why so many of us are losing our mind, because we have somebody else's mind in our head. Take away your phone for a couple hours, or you in the house, didn't leave the house. You got the phone in the house, but you put it down somewhere. You can't find it, and you start getting scared. Wait, I can't go to sleep. I need more. Oh. You think that's by chance? That's by design. You're probably, I'm not saying anybody here to insult anybody. I'm just using this as an example, right? What percentage do you think most people are thinking? It's not the same for everybody. When you go out tomorrow and do whatever you do, just look at people. This is not to be condescending. I'm just saying to think. Ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 100, what percentage rate do you think that one over there and that one over there, are they thinking? Are they sharp? Do they catch stuff? Or how are you going to be sharp when you're full of pork? How are you going to be sharp when you have a hangover from drinking all that liquor? You can have a sip of wine every now and then. It's a very healthy thing to do. Thins the blood, right? But you don't have to wallow in it. But what percentage? And when you are a thinker, and when you read relevant things, and when you have books, see, online you can read all these same books, right? But they can remove those books offline, and you absorb the knowledge that's in that book more efficiently when you have a book in your hand. Read the same book online, you're not going to retain it the same way when you have a relationship with a book. So what if you dropped a little coffee and it's stained, or there's a little ketchup in there because you were eating a burger or whatever and it's sprayed in there, or you look in there and see old dried up piece of rice in the pages. Oh, I've been walking around with this for 2 weeks because that's the rice I had 2 weeks ago. Still there. Like the corn that took a couple of days to come out of here. I ate that corn 4 days ago. I turn around, man, before I flush it, it's right there. Yeah. What about the poison that's in your mind, like the piece of corn that was in you for a couple of days too long? Your transit time should not be that slow. But what about the transit time of getting out the foolishness that is so stimulating? So stimulating. There's things that I see and I'm in control of myself, but I see it and I say, God, dog, they didn't have women built like that back in the 70s. And they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Except for this artificial stuff. But you know what? You had to imagine. They didn't put it all out in the middle where you see a camel toe. Huh? From the front or the back. They had tight jeans, they had little short things on, but it was not like it is today. These lyrics, you got young men who don't even halfway know the address, but they can spew out these lyrics, and they're starting it out here in the motherland. I was sitting down in a restaurant, and I heard this thing with a good beat. I'm like, man, that's a nice African beat. And I said, wait a second, what did I just hear? I stopped chewing. People sitting at the table next to me, oh, you hear it too, right, my brother? I had to stop chewing too. I was like, nigga this, nigga that, shoot you, kill you, nigga that, shoot you, kill you. And there was some younger guys over there nodding their head to saying it. That's your mantra? That's what you meditate on? So when somebody steps on your toes, that's the first thing you want to do? Shoot you, kill you. What happened to the songs back in the day that we had, the love songs where we showed respect to our sisters while we were romantic with her? What happened to the old Earth, Wind, and Fire style songs? Look at the album covers with the Egyptian symbols and different things there. Written in stone. That's the way of the world. Hearts of fire. Doom, doom, doom. That thing would mellow you out. You had peace and love to the world, playing at a barbecue in somebody's backyard. You got invited. You went down there with your friend, and you looking at everybody like they family, because they are. And you see somebody over there, you see a young lady, and you smile at her, smiling out of real love, not lust. Old grandmother come out from the back. Hey, baby, why ain't you got a plate? Come on over here and get a plate. You family, baby. And y'all ain't related, but you family. Even the dead soul, no life force having aliens act more like family. You know what I always say? Two white men. One man took the other white man's wife, had relations with her. He's still with his wife, but he's mad at this other guy. But when it comes time to come against us, they're going to show unity. Hello, Bill? Yes, George. I don't know why you're calling me. You know I can't stand your ass after what you did. Hey, listen. Now put that aside. You know, they're going to open up this business and it's black. And it's coming too close to our neighborhood. I know you got that settlement money. And I'm retired, but I have a little lump sum. We need to open up an alternative business because we know our people will support us. We got to run them out of here. Or, you know, I think you're a freaking prick, but that's a good idea. We're going to team up against some niggers. Yes, we are. Okay. I'm back. I know a lot of people left. It's some kind of glitch. It's strange. I'm on my phone now, so the sound sounds a little different. But on my computers, I can't get on. My internet is paid up. Just recently did that. But sometimes there's this glitch where the network is down. Now, well, how am I back on the show? Well, I have a separate internet on my phone, right? And even that wasn't working. So maybe it'll come back to my equipment, but until then, I'll talk here. I'm not discouraged or anything, but I'm kind of like, man, I kind of got out the mood. It's like you're in your bedroom at a special time, and all of a sudden the car alarm goes off, and you got to put on your pajamas and go out there and see what's going on. I think this is going to work back on the equipment. Okay, I think it is, but I'm not going to sweat that. What I'm going to do, I will sign off. I'm not going to let this thing have the victory because I put a good amount of time in. And the reason why I started the show so late, which is not late for the folks in America because I'm 5 hours ahead of you, but for me it's 1:45 in the morning. So I am gonna sign off. I think I put in a good hour and a half, and I'll come back with the same style tomorrow. I got some topics I want to speak about. It'll be a little earlier. I'm gonna do a few things when I wake up, and then hit it again because I want to make up for that. And I was supposed to write some articles and stuff like that. So this electronic stuff will happen because remember, I'm up in the mountains in West Africa and we're high up. And again, sometimes these things happen, but I noticed that it happens like this, not a power outage, but it happens like this, in the wee hours. The power outage is more happening in the day, and cut everything off. But I'm glad to have gotten this far. When I came in, I was a little tired and I was going to just wait until tomorrow to do a show. Then something pissed me off when I thought about it. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to go a whole day without doing anything because I like to do too. But I have a lot of nice surprises this week, some upgrades and different things. So I got my work cut out for me this week. And don't forget that we have Neil Frazier tomorrow. And oh, thank you so much. We love you too. Giant gain got to be 369. Okay, let me see here now. I don't understand. Wait a second. Let me just scroll up to see. But thank you, Flashmail, for letting everybody know. Because for some reason the phone was working with my WhatsApp, right? So I can communicate with those who are in the chat room who have the number and we talk and stuff like that. So, and usually when it cuts off like that, it will be a power outage or one of these glitches. And I'll always try to come on back. But if it's one of those things that just don't recover, that happens every now and then, the show's going to stay live, but do understand that I'm not just going to cut off like that and leave everybody flat. But just hang on for a little while because, like I said, I'm not in the city, big city where everything is so strong. I'm out here. And this is why, Elon Musk could be a knucklehead, but I would love to have that Starlink out in Ghana. Powerful. Would love to have that. Pay one price, unlimited downloads and all that stuff. That'd be what? Unbelievable. Yeah. So give me your feedback on what kind of shows or what kind of topics. I know at some point I want to talk about Joel Osteen in his church and that shootout. But it's not just about that I want to talk about. I'm just going to start out that way. I do want to talk about that tomorrow. It might be in a very short video that might go on TikTok and YouTube and all of that stuff. It may not be a full-fledged thing, and that's what I want to do. Every type of story doesn't deserve to have a whole hour on it. Some of them are 15 minutes, some of them are 10 minutes, and some are 1 minute. But I want to kind of touch on a lot of things, and some will be like 1 minute anecdotes, 10-minute shows, 15-minute shows, but it'll always be the hour. And that's good for the algorithm. You got to have variety now. So everything is changing on social media. And just like when you have a sailboat, you can't keep the sail in one position because the winds change. So you have to know, okay, let me adjust this to get the same result. And like I always say, it's easy to get from one side of the lake to the other when the wind's blowing behind you and pushing you that way. But how do you tilt the sail when the wind is blowing against you and you have to move against it? That's when the expertise comes in, you see? So I'm gonna wrap this down right now. Let me check the computer one more time. Check the computer one more time. Once is never enough. That's the 70s coming out, me. My big head has so many gigabytes, terabytes. It stores a lot of information. It tends to come out every now and then, telling my age. Yeah, it's spinning. It's spinning. If this was like 15 minutes into the show, I'm gonna keep going. Because since I put the time in, understanding for me, like I'm 5 hours ahead of the East Coast, brother, man, want to get some sleep. Yeah. Wait till I get some sleep. I'm gonna tear that pillow up. Yes, I am. Yeah. It's time to end it. You know, I was talking about them white men wanting to have a business. That's what did it. Somebody's out there with a finger. Push it now, Bill. Push it now. We can't let them say that story. That's the way it's gonna be. Anyway. Hate to end it this way, but it's gonna make me come back more vicious. Hey, it's better than me doing nothing. Because I almost did that. I was gonna work on some graphics and things, but it bothered me. Can't leave it like that, you know? But yeah, I'm gonna head out, y'all. I'm gonna take a nap. Not a nap, but a full night's sleep. And scheme on some things, but I do have a lot of good new things I want to do tomorrow. And Neil Frazier is gonna be on tomorrow. And what's it gonna be? 3 o'clock East Coast time and 12 noon West Coast time, and adjust it all in between. But I will do something before that, you know. And I put up a show to do, but I had to push it back because we had to postpone it. I'll try to come back with it and see when we can do that next show. But you all take care. Have a good night's rest. Even though it's a little earlier, it's late evening over there. That's okay. But I will see you tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to us talking and vibing. And remember to always go to LANCESCURV.com, and also remember the WhatsApp LANCESCURV channel that you see all the announcements and different things, right? Some of you have signed up to the mailing list on LANCESCURV.com. It's still there. You can still sign up, but you haven't been receiving notifications in your email because I'm shopping around for another service. The one that I was using kind of sucks now. They changed everything up. And I'm like, it's too complicated just to send out a couple of hundred, a couple of thousand emails. It's too complicated. And they bumped the price up. I'm like, oh, come on. You know what I mean? So got to keep things, you know. I don't want it to be one of those things that is so small on your check that it keeps coming, your bank account, it keeps coming out. You don't realize it, even after you cancel, because they will do that. They'll continue something when you canceled it. That happened to me recently. And there's no number to call these people. So anyway, life is good. Life is good, even with the challenges and the things that are uncomfortable, because if it doesn't kill you, it's going to make you stronger. It doesn't make you more stupid. It makes you more wise. Hold on to the wisdom. Understand this is a journey. And as the years go by, we should be getting better incrementally than we were the day, the month, the years before. And if not, we better make adjustments because we have to leave out of here better. When you do that, life gets easier. Much love to you all. Take care. I'm going to speak to you tomorrow. LANCESCURV loves you. Peace.
Make sure to go to LANCESCURV.com, an online magazine established in 2001, containing written articles, thousands of talk shows and discussions, cutting-edge cartoons, as well as erotic expressions and tasteful adult photography. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. Once you get a taste of the world of LANCESCURV, trust me, you'll be back for more. LANCESCURV.com. Bold, raw, and uncut.